other chapter is a dream. So I kind of had to learn how to write a dream. So like if you're telling somebody about your dream, you're like one time I had this dream and it was like two of my friends like who are married, and they were it was them, but they were like Hillary Clinton and Elton John, and they were married with like a manor full of like my friends that were like trying to get me. And so if you're telling somebody that dream, you explain the uncanny. You're like, it was them, but it was really them. And so like whenever you're writing a dream, you're putting yourself into the body of like, whenever you're in a dream, and it's like you see uncanny things, but you're not paying attention to it. Like some weird shit's happening, but you just keep on moving on, so it was kind of difficult to write because I had to do a lot of research on it, because it's kind of like writing like a kid. So like, or like an idiot or something. Like whenever you're dreaming, it's your basically like your prefrontal cortex is not activated, and that's where your rational thought is. So your dreaming goes on like in other parts of your brain, your creative parts, but the rational thought is not there. So whenever weird shit happens, you just like breeze past it, don't think about it again. But like as far as lucid dreaming, I think that it has to do with engaging that prefrontal cortex, so that like there are certain things if you dream a lot that like for me trigger a reminder that I'm dreaming. And it's oftentimes like whenever I'm running or whenever I'm trying to fight back, or like, physical, because like that part of your brain is not activated in a dream. So like my mom was reading my book, and the parts that are dreams, she goes, I want to know why her feet are so heavy. And my mom didn't remember her dreams a lot. And I go, because you can't run in a dream. And she was like, what? And like she started remembering her dreams after that. And so there are like these certain things that like trigger you to remember in your dream. Everybody's always trying to lucid dream and all that. And I think it has to do with that rational thought, or at least for me, it has to do with like physical activity that kind of reminds me that I'm dreaming. Like I'm like, I remember this feeling. And I think like certain people, I guess, are more prone to obviously lucid dreaming and like having like reoccurring dreams and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of the topic that I've been really interested in lately is like people who travel across dreams. And I call them dream walkers. And I think certain people who are more versed in dreaming, and I don't know if and I do think that there are people who practice this kind of stuff, like whether nefariously or not. But I think some people are naturally born with more of an aptitude to entering other people's dreams or lucid dreaming.
Hold
And
on. You think people could enter other people's dreams?
yes, I think that I've entered other people's dreams several times. It actually happened one time whenever I really started thinking this. It happened 5 nights in a row. And they say that you can't dream about somebody you've never seen before. And I have dreams of people I've never seen before all the time. And I know that like there are people I've never seen before because like whenever I meet someone, I immediately draw like who they look like that I know in my head, like typically two people, and but it's not them. So it's like I've had dreams of people that look like people that I know, like pretty similar, but it's not them. And I know it's somebody I've never seen before because I would remember that face. And and I think a lot of the studies done on dreams, like they say that you can only dream 5 minutes and stuff like that. I think a lot of those studies are not completely accurate, like because I've had dreams where I was like asleep, and this happened like a couple months ago, and I was like in this like loop dream, and it was like this really weird dream, and I kept waking up and the sun was like in different points in the sky. And like I remember seeing out my window the sun like moving. It was like hours that I was having this dream. And so like a lot of the studies on dreams, I think I make a joke and I'm like, they're made by people who don't dream. But like, because how are you supposed to know if you don't? Like, we all have different types of dreams.
There's a couple tips for lucid dreaming. I don't know if you've heard of them. There's like the one where every time you walk through a door, you like knock on the door and you say, "Am I dreaming?" And
Okay.
then you'll finally do it in your dream, and you'll notice that you're doing it in your dream because it'll be different. You'll notice that this isn't reality. For some reason, like, let's say every time you walk into a room, you look at the clock. When you go into your dream, you'll look at the clock and the time will be different. The time won't make sense. And you'll be like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And it's these
Okay.
things to like let you in
Like,
to like
yeah,
this.
they're like triggers or what do they call it in Inception? Like the
Yeah.
top,
It's
you
like to
know?
talk, it's like remind you that you're dreaming because you don't recognize that you're either in
Totems, right?
reality or dream. Huh?
Totems.
Totems,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, well, and they have like where they've studied dreaming, they have like those machines that basically they detect like rapid eye movement and then it'll flash lights and they've had people like to like count numbers and then them move their eyes like basically like they figured out like how to communicate with people while dreaming outside of dreams. And so, like, there's not, I mean, it's something that is like not studied a lot because I do think that everybody's brain is different in how they dream. And so, like, and I do think that there are certain people who like travel across dreams and whether they know it or not. And just like in the past year, I've met like 3 or 4 different people who, cause like I'll save my theory, you know, and I meet people who have dreams of people they've never seen before and like believe that they enter dreams. And one time I was about to talk to this dude and my mom's real weird about like wookery stuff like that. And like, and I was like talking
She's
to
weird about what?
wookery,
What's
like stuff
wookery?
like weird, like supernatural or like you know, not religious, you know, like if it's not
Okay.
based, if it's not about God, you know what I mean?
The
So
occult?
like yeah, and just like, you know, supernatural stuff. Like, I mean, I consider religion, I consider spirituality supernatural. Like, you guys had an episode that the manifesting monsters,
Yes.
and I use the term cryptid because that guy used the term cryptid for all supernatural things. So like I use the term and people are always like, what, like Bigfoot? And I'm like, well, that's part of it, you know. And but my mom doesn't really like talking about that kind of stuff. She gets kind of weirded out. And she like I kept talking about dreams of like seeing people and this like dude that I had been like talking to about that a lot. And he like said that he traveled into people's dreams. And then my mom like told me one day, she was like, I had a dream of this dude I'd never seen before. It was like first time she ever had that happen. And she was like, it was this black dude. And I was like, showed her a picture or cause I was like in my head, I was just, you know, like what the heck? Like, you know, I didn't want to weird her, like freak her out, but I was like casually like, was this the guy you saw in your dream? And she's like, I think so. Why? What? Like, you know, and I'm just like kind of like brush it off, like move on, like not think about it, talk about it again. But it was like I was about to have that guy come over to my house and talk to me about it. And I got a really weird feeling right before and I just like canceled like our like meeting or whatever. And I just like, I don't know. And I don't know if it was that guy, but I had like a feeling that maybe it was.
I
And I
wonder if
have
he
a
uses
feeling,
that to pick up chicks. Just like I'm a dream walker.
yeah, I'm gonna walk into your dream
I'm
tonight,
gonna walk into your dreams, dog.
right?
That's what I'm gonna make happen. That's crazy. Now I have manipulated my dreams. I've not like the way the dream went, reversed it, and when it made it go a different way. I've done that before.
That's
Yeah.
You
like
guys
lucid
ever
dreaming,
done?
right? Yeah,
What?
it's like lucid. That's like lucid dreaming. Right?
Is that what
Cool.
lucid dreaming is?
I would say.
Controlling
I
it?
mean, that's a way of it. Yeah, I mean, that's a way of experiencing a lucid dream. I would
That's
think.
some
Yeah, I
crazy
think
shit.
so.
What do you
Yeah, I
think
think
dreams are? Some people think dreaming is astral projection. What do you think about that?
well, so like we were talking about different like planes of like existence before. I think that dreaming is kind of entering that realm or infinite realm of, you know, other dimensions, so to speak. Like I don't think it's in our head. You know, I think that a lot of times it might be creative, but to an extent, I think that everybody's dream is like another dimension in that dream. Not like every night they enter the same dimension. It's like what is reality, but like each person's individual experience. And if there is more than one dimension, then there's infinite dimensions. There's not just like 11 or something like that, you know, like they've discovered, you know, a certain amount of dimensions, but the fact of there being multiple dimensions would mean endless dimensions.
Well, you know, I'm watching that Black Matter That show's
Oh.
about that. Like
Dark matter.
everything's coming dark matter. Everything's coming out. Everything is coming out with this dimensional stuff, you know, everywhere all at once. Everything everywhere all at once. That movie
Yeah.
is such a great movie. Multiple dimensions and stuff like that, and accessing multiple dimensions. I have a lot of jokes about that in my act. I think it's interesting, dude. I think
Yeah.
go
Well,
on.
Do you think
and
it's
just the
predictive
title.
programming?
What?
Do you think it's predictive programming? You're watching the show. Do you think a lot of this whole interdimensional stuff, they're already preparing us for it? Like, look, we kind of already told you guys about it.
I think
It's-
people are finding out personally, and so they're trying to control it. You know, like they're like people are starting to get more awakened, so like they have to enter the conversation. So they're trying to, you know, figure out like it's just like aliens. Like they figured out, or people were figuring out about aliens. So now they're like telling us about aliens, and they like, you know, the biggest kept secret for like fucking decades, for centuries, and now all of a sudden they're just going to tell us all of it, and it doesn't make sense. But it's like they're going to beat us to the us figuring it out ourselves, you know.
So crazy. It's just
Yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah, so like as far as like you know, like the different like dream realms, like I don't know if you guys have had reoccurring dreams ever, but
Yeah, I used to as a kid. We've talked about it on the show before, but like I used to be just running through a garage and just open the door, and then it's the same garage, and I run again, and there's numbers floating all over the place. That I had that a bunch of times when I was a kid.
yeah. Yeah, well, I had one dream, like as far as like entering other people's dreams, like I told you, I had 5 nights in a row where I was seeing people I had never seen before. And it was probably because I was like consciously like thinking about it. And it was interesting. I also had like stopped drinking, which was what was wild, because normally drinking or alcohol like makes you like dream more. But that was like something I noticed that was like similar across those days.
Let me ask you
And
something real quick.
yeah,
Do you believe that you only dream about people you know?
no, I think that like, so this dream that I had like 5 nights in a row where I was seeing people I had never seen before. And it was like, so like one of the nights, it was like a whole family. It was like this like Mexican family. And I was in their yard, and it was like snowy, and there was like a cutout of their yard, like a hole in it into water. And I was like bringing them through it into this lake here, like in Oklahoma, where I'm from, Skytube Lake, to this rope swing. And it was like, felt like I was like going back and forth between one of their dreams and my dream, like weirdly enough. And then the night after that, I was like, it was this like Asian girl, and I was like doing her hair for prom, and she like wanted it done like mine after, and I was like, no, like I just did your hair, and I felt like I like ruined her dream. That was like the last night that it happened.
How do you know
like,
if you're in somebody else's dreams?
I don't, well, to me it felt like I was in their dream, because it was like it was like their space, and I was like kept pulling it to my space, so to speak. And
You're too young for MySpace.
no, I had MySpace.
You did?
Yeah. I'm 31.
Damn. That seems like too young for that. That was so long ago.
We were